What happened in Dallas in 1975 is still told as a legend in the music world. What was done to Tina Turner that night was unknown to anyone. But when she took the stage, the strength she showed spoke a language everyone could understand. November 23, 1975, Dallas Convention Center Arena. Autumn's cold breath had settled over Texas, but inside the arena, a warm atmosphere prevailed. 15,000 people had come to watch the Ike and Tina Turner review performance. This was the final leg of the tour, and everyone expected an unforgettable night. But no one knew that evening would witness one of music history's most painful and powerful stories. The horror that unfolded in room 1247 at the Marriott Hotel backstage was unknown to anyone. Tina Turner, with the strong spirit she was born with as Anna Mae Bullock, was experiencing one of the darkest moments of her life. But the people of Dallas knew only one thing: their queen was coming. At 9 a.m. that morning, everything seemed normal. When Tina woke up, sunlight was filtering through the curtains, but she sensed something different in Ike's mood. "Today's rehearsal is at 2 p.m., Ike said coldly, "and you're going to do exactly as I tell you." At 2 p.m., Tina was ready to rehearse with her characteristic energy. But there was tension in the air. The band members had noticed Ike's hostile demeanor. "Tina's costume is changing," Ike announced. But Tina didn't want to change the costume she had prepared for this performance. "Ike, I chose this costume specifically for Dallas," Tina said determinedly. "Who are you to dare oppose me?" Ike shouted. This was about control. Tina's growing confidence threatened his ego. "I am Tina Turner," she said, trembling but determined. "And I'm going on that stage tonight." This response set Ike off completely. What happened in the hotel room was indescribable, but Tina's spirit wouldn't break. Every blow made her more determined. At 4 p.m. there was silence in the hotel room. Tina looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. Her left eye was swollen, her lip was split, and she was in pain with bruises. But the fire in her eyes had never gone out. "We'll handle it with makeup," she murmured. "I'm going on that stage tonight." At 5 p.m., the stage crew was making final preparations. Everyone was preparing for the legendary Ike and Tina Turner review performance. Tina's makeup artist Barbara Williams was shocked when she arrived. "Tina, you can't go on stage like this. We need to cancel the concert." "No," Tina's voice was firm. 15,000 people are waiting for me. I can't disappoint them. This music is what keeps me alive." The makeup session where Barbara worked miracles was like preparing for war. But Tina's real strength wasn't hidden under makeup. It was in her voice, in her spirit. Meanwhile, outside the arena, reporter Jenny Rodriguez was covering the pre-concert atmosphere. Among the people waiting in line were excited fans who had been waiting years to hear Tina Turner live. At 7:30 p.m., the arena's doors opened with anticipation. 15,000 people took their seats, creating an electric atmosphere that buzzed with excitement. The arena's interior was breathtaking with its three-tier seating and magnificent acoustics specifically designed for musical performances. Tonight felt different. There was palpable energy in the air, suggesting something extraordinary was about to unfold before their eyes. At 8 p.m., the lights dimmed slowly throughout the arena. The crowd's excitement reached fever pitch as the Ikettes took the stage and those familiar soul-stirring rhythms began. But everyone from the front row to the upper balconies was waiting for one thing: Tina Turner's legendary stage entrance that would make this November night in Dallas truly unforgettable. Backstage, Tina looked in the mirror one last time with steely determination. Makeup had carefully hidden her physical wounds, but the deeper pain in her soul was still there, raw and throbbing. But at that crucial moment, a powerful voice rose from within her battered spirit. "This is the power of music. This is my power. Tonight I'm going to show them the real Tina Turner, unbroken and unstoppable." She took a deep centering breath and thought about her childhood in Nutbush, drawing strength from those foundational memories that had shaped her. She remembered the first song she sang in the church choir in that small Tennessee town, how music had always been her sanctuary. In those innocent days, music was an escape route for her troubled heart. Today was the same. Music would be her salvation once again. When she picked up her microphone with trembling but resolute hands, something almost mystical happened in that moment. It was as if all the pain, all the suppressed anger, all the accumulated power of years of struggle gathered in that seemingly simple device. This wasn't just a sound amplifier, it was an extension of her soul, her voice, her unbreakable spirit. She was powerful with that microphone in her hands. "Ladies and gentlemen," announcer Robert Big Voice Thompson called out dramatically, his voice echoing throughout every corner of the arena, "the magnificent, the incomparable, Tina Turner." The arena went absolutely wild with thunderous energy. 15,000 people stood up as one massive wave of humanity. Applause and screams mixed together in a deafening roar of pure excitement. When the spotlight hit the stage like lightning, Tina Turner appeared like a phoenix rising from ashes and walked to center stage with long, powerful, determined steps. At that transformative moment, everyone in the arena felt the same overwhelming sensation. This wasn't an ordinary concert or mere entertainment. This was a moment when a wounded soul expressed itself through music, when pain transformed into power. Tina's stage presence was electric and commanding. There was a completely different kind of power radiating from her walk, her posture, her entire energy field. Tina took the microphone and that familiar voice filled the arena. "Good evening, Dallas." Her voice was strong, energetic, but experienced ears could catch the delicate tremor in her voice. This wasn't just excitement, it was something else. It was the voice of willpower. The first song was Nutbush City Limits. This song that told Tina's own past gained special meaning that night. In every word, there was confronting her own roots. In every note, the hardships of the path she had come echoed. A church house, gin house, schoolhouse, outhouse. The words weren't just lyrics, they were Tina's life story. The crowd had gotten excited as soon as they heard the song's familiar rhythm. But close observers could notice the slight tremor in Tina's left hand, the minimal change in her walk, and most importantly the deep pain in her eyes. But the real magic began with the second song. When they started playing River Deep, Mountain High, Tina's voice was like a hurricane circling the arena. This song was perfect for showcasing Tina's vocal power. In every note there were the pains of her life. But at the same time, there was also the invisible power standing against these pains. "When I was a little girl I had a rag doll." The opening words of the song took on a completely different meaning when they came from Tina's mouth. It was as if she wasn't just singing, she was confessing. The crowd felt this deep emotion. Music critic Dorothy Parker was rapidly writing in her notebook, "There's something different about Tina Turner tonight. Her voice is deeper, more painful than ever, but at the same time more powerful." The crowd felt they were experiencing something extraordinary. This wasn't just music, it was a moment when a soul found itself. Every movement, every breath of Tina was the triumph of survival. The third song that made its mark on that night was Proud Mary. Before singing this song, Tina held the microphone and looked at the crowd. There were tears in her eyes but also strong determination. "We're going to do this one nice and easy," she said, her voice a bit hoarse but determined. "But we're going to finish rough." These words weren't just song lyrics, they were her life philosophy. When Proud Mary started, the arena's energy transformed completely. While Tina sang this song, it was as if she was telling her own life story. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. Every word reflected her own struggle against oppression and control. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. This wasn't just song lyrics, it was her life philosophy. Not being swept away by life's flow, but swimming against the current, fighting for her own identity and freedom. In this section, Tina started using every part of the stage with fierce determination, dancing from right to left, front to back, exciting the crowd with every movement. In every step, she was transforming her pain into music, her suffering into strength. This physical performance was also a spiritual healing session for both her and the audience. The arena's atmosphere had become electric with raw emotion. People were dancing, singing, but most importantly, they were taking their share of Tina's power. This showed music's healing power, its unifying effect, and its ability to transform pain into beauty. The fourth song was I've Been Loving You Too Long. This Otis Redding classic took on a completely different meaning in Tina's voice. The slow tempo gave Tina the opportunity to showcase her vocal techniques and emotional depth, but at the same time, it also reflected her own emotional state and the complex feelings she was experiencing. I've been loving you too long to stop now. When she sang these words, Tina's eyes closed and her voice carried the weight of years of complicated love and pain. It was as if she was singing directly to her own heart, processing her own experiences through music. The fifth song brought a different energy as the group performed A Fool in Love. This song was her first hit with Ike, and now while singing it in her current state, she was pouring all the pain and complexity of that relationship into the music. There's something on my mind, won't somebody please tell me what's wrong? These words had taken on profound meaning that night. It was as if she wasn't just singing, she was crying out for understanding and help. Throughout the concert, Dr. Richard Hayes from Dallas Methodist Hospital, who was waiting backstage, was amazed watching Tina's performance. This cannot be explained by medical science, he thought. This can only be explained by willpower and the human spirit's capacity to transcend physical limitations. Dr. Hayes hadn't come to the concert by chance. Barbara Williams had called him explaining Tina's condition. The doctor was at the arena to intervene in case of any emergency. But while watching Tina's performance, he was witnessing something beyond medical science. Human will, he had noted in his notebook, the power to overcome physical pain. The seventh song was Let's Stay Together. This Al Green classic showed Tina's soul music interpretation, but at the same time, it also reflected her own inner contradictions. When she said, "Let's stay together," she was actually describing her own search for freedom. In the eighth song, the group played Shake a Tail Feather. This upbeat song brought the arena's energy to its peak. Tina was using every corner of the stage, dancing, exciting the crowd. Every movement was a rebellion against her pain. The most emotional moment of the concert happened in the ninth song. When Help Me Make It Through the Night began to be sung, there was deep silence in the arena. This song perfectly reflected Tina's mood that night. Help me make it through the night. When she sang these words, Tina's voice broke. But this breaking wasn't a sign of weakness, it was a demonstration of strength. It took courage to acknowledge her brokenness. The 10th and final song was Proud Mary Reprise. This time the song was interpreted longer, more energetically, more powerfully. Tina loaded all the night's energy into this final performance. Rolling on the River, the last time she sang these words, it was like a summary of her life philosophy. Not being swept by the current, but managing the current. At the end of the concert, Tina Turner came to the front of the stage and addressed the crowd. "Dallas, you are beautiful." Her voice was a bit hoarse, but her spirit had never been broken. Music is love, music is life, music is everything. These words touched the hearts of everyone in the arena. This wasn't just a performance, it was a life lesson. Tina had shown music's healing power, how it could be used as a tool of resistance. "Tonight you gave me strength," Tina said with tears in her eyes, "and I hope I gave you some too." These words echoed in the arena and found a place in everyone's hearts. When the concert ended, the standing ovation lasted 12 minutes. People were crying, hugging each other, shouting "Tina, Tina, Tina." The arena had become like a healing center. Backstage, Tina collapsed. The adrenaline effect was starting to wear off, and her pain was returning. Barbara and Dr. Hayes were supporting her, but Tina looked at the arena one last time. 15,000 people were still screaming, shouting her name. "This is my power," she said quietly, her voice almost a whisper. "No one can take this from me. Music is what encourages me. Music is my freedom." Dr. Hayes, "Tina na moyi na ederken shakanda, nesel yaptinas bonu, diasur mustu." Nesel buhalda ikisat sana aldanis, Dr. Demis, Tina, gulums Erik. Dan sanoklu ve kalbi berlistinda, vukut onlara uyar. Ben bugeke satin savukudum la sana almadum, ruhum la sana aldum. Dr. Hayes was amazed while examining Tina. How did you do this? He had asked. How did you take the stage for 2 hours in this condition? Doctor, Tina had said, smiling through her pain. When the human mind and heart unite, the body adapts to them. I didn't just take the stage with my body tonight. I took the stage with my soul, with every ounce of strength I had left. After that night, the news that appeared in Dallas newspapers went down in history. The Dallas Morning News headline read, "Tina Turner, literally a miracle." The subtitle was, "What we experienced at the arena last night wasn't music, it was a miracle of human spirit triumphing over adversity." In his comprehensive review, the newspaper's music editor Steve Morrison wrote, "I've been working as a music critic for 25 years, covering everything from symphony orchestras to rock concerts. The performance I witnessed last night was proof of how art can transform not only the artist, but everyone who experiences it." Tina Turner didn't just sing to us, she shared her soul and showed us what true courage looks like. Radio station KVL's programmer Maria Gonzalez dedicated her entire next day show to the concert, saying, "I was at the arena last night, and I can honestly say it changed my perspective on what music can accomplish." There was something transcendent in Tina Turner's voice. It was as if she wasn't just entertaining us, she was healing herself in front of our eyes, and in doing so she healed something in all of us. But perhaps the most powerful testimonial came from 16-year-old Angela Johnson, who sat in the front row during the concert. In a post-concert interview that would be quoted for years to come, she had said, "Watching Tina Turner that night, I understood that no difficulty is greater than the power of the human spirit expressed through art. She became my hero, not just because she's talented, but because she showed me what it means to never give up, even when everything seems impossible." 52-year-old Vietnam veteran Robert Wilson, who had seen the worst of human conflict, offered another perspective. "I've witnessed courage on battlefields, but the courage I saw at the arena last night was of a different kind entirely." Tina Turner is a real warrior, fighting battles that are just as real and just as important as any war. She reminded me that some of the bravest fights happen not with weapons but with art, music, and the refusal to let others define who you are. Local pastor Reverend Michael Thompson, who had attended with his congregation, later spoke about the experience during his Sunday sermon. "What we witnessed that night was nothing short of a spiritual experience. It reminded us that music is one of God's greatest gifts, and when it comes from a place of truth and pain transformed into beauty, it can heal not just the performer but everyone who hears it." After that transformative night, Tina Turner's life slowly began to change in profound ways. This performance made her fully realize her own power and potential for independence. She was now ready to shine not just in Ike's shadow but in her own brilliant light, on her own terms. The strength she had shown that night became a turning point in her personal journey. Within a year, in 1976, Tina Turner finally made the brave decision to leave Ike and strike out on her own. That night in Dallas became one of the most important stepping stones on her path to independence and self-discovery. I learned that night, Tina would reflect years later in interviews, that music isn't just entertainment or even art, it's survival itself, it's healing, it's the language of the soul when words aren't enough. And I realized that with music, I am not just strong, I am unstoppable. With music, I am truly free. The night that unfolded in Dallas in 1975 wasn't just a concert or even just a performance. This was a moment when a human soul discovered its own indestructible power. Tina Turner proved that night that real artists can shine light even in their darkest moments, that art can triumph over adversity, and that sometimes the most beautiful music is born from the deepest pain, transformed through sheer force of will into something transcendent. And in music history, this night is still told as the night when courage turned into music, when one woman's refusal to be broken became a beacon of hope for everyone who has ever faced seemingly impossible odds. What happened at Dallas Convention Center Arena on November 23, 1975, wasn't just a concert, it was the triumph of the human spirit made manifest through the power of song. If this incredible story of Tina Turner's courage moved you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll continue sharing untold stories of music legends who turned their darkest moments into their greatest triumphs. Don't forget to click the bell icon to turn on your notifications so you won't miss our new videos about the Queen of Rock and Roll and other incredible artists. Write in the comments which Tina Turner's story you'd like to hear next, her escape from Ike, her comeback at 50, or her rise to become a global icon. Remember, Tina Turner proved that night in Dallas that no amount of pain can silence a truly powerful voice, and sometimes our greatest performances come from our deepest struggles.